So good. So good. All right, so let's bring out the co-creator of Empire, the director of Precious and The Butler, Mr. Lee Daniels. I like your slippers.
Thank you. I didn't wear pajamas today, so
I know. I didn't realize this. I guess I am the only one that didn't know this. That you wear pajamas when you shoot.
I do.
That's
Because you got to be balls to the wind. It's dangerous out there. It's dangerous.
I know. I said next time I do an Apple Talk, I'm going to be in pajamas. So tell us a little bit about the creation of Empire. You did this with Danny Strong, he was the screenwriter of The Butler.
Yeah.
Tell us how this sort of the origin story for this.
He came to me when I was when we were shooting Butler at the real tail end of Butler,
Okay.
and he asked me to. He said, "What do you think of telling your life story as a musical in the hip hop world, and as a film?" And so I slept on it, and I said, "You know what? I want to make money." So I think that we should, Danny. We've done movies, so let's try this TV shit. You see how it works, and so I said, if it's TV, then yeah. And then the question then became whether or not it was cable or whether it was prime time, because I really wasn't familiar with TV and how it works and all, and so I chose prime time so that I could really make money. But because I thought it would challenge me to how do you tell a story about hip hop and not curse. Yeah. So for me, the challenge creatively was telling that story and not use the F-bomb, which I do in all my movies. Yeah. Do you know?
I mean, you were saying it's kind of about your life, especially the stuff about Jamal in particular, right? That sort of is mirrored on.
That is, but all of it is.
All of it is.
All of it. All of the characters are. My sister is Cookie. My aunts are Cookie. These are people that are very real and that were based on people that I know or have grown up to know. And I think what's interesting is not just about the past, but also the now. And I don't think that we've seen African Americans that are billionaires. I mean, on screen, the public has, and I mean, I know African Americans that are millionaires and billionaires, and they still get down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that there's that public persona that we give for America, and that's what happens behind closed doors that I'm trying to tell.
Yeah. This is a question from my mom because my mom loves Empire, and so my mom, she does. She loves it.
How old is she?
She'll be 60 in September. She lives in Atlanta, and she
is she white?
She's white. She is white. I'm white. Yes, my mother is also white. But she wanted to know who Lucius is based on because there's a little Diddy, there's a little Jay-Z, there's a little Berry Gordy. Is he a combo of all those people? Did you did you kind of base him on anyone in particular?
Yeah, he's a little bit of all of those. He's everybody, and he's Gamble and Huff from Philadelphia. He's based on my dad. He's based on me getting into the industry. I've done some things that I've had to do that I'm not proud of as a young kid to get to where I had to get to, and so I think he's based on a combination of many African American men that have had to do things to get to where they had. It's no different than American men, because this is no different than Joe Kennedy. Yeah. What he did back then.
No, totally. Is it fun when you guys are writing this show? There's so many characters that are sort of like, kind of cloaked versions of real people. Like in this week's episode, there's an artist on Empire named Tiana, who is kind of like Rihanna a little bit. Is that fun to sort of write these sort of like kind of cloaked versions of people? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But
are you worried about Rihanna like coming to your house though?
No.
Okay.
Because she wasn't. The thing is that I called her Tiana because it was based after my cousin. The name came from my cousin, and originally she was written as this. Did we see that clip?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna.
Well, she was written as a this hardcore sort of rapper, sort of gangster, sort of very butch, sort of and then the powers to be created something that was completely different, and And I went with it and made the best of it, and I'm really excited about her.
Yeah.
I think she's a discovery.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's great. So let's watch a clip, actually. This is from tomorrow night's episode of Empire. This is sort of a new artist who Hakeem, Lucius and Cookie's youngest son, sort of takes a liking to.
It's crazy. I can't watch this crazy. I don't care whether it's a movie, whether it's a theater piece. Whenever I see my stuff, I get nauseous.
Really?
Yeah.
It's always so good, though.
Thank you, but I get nauseous because I'm looking at it thinking, what did it? Yeah, I can't get away from it, so I don't watch it.
Okay.
Half of it.
Well, don't puke on me.
I will.
Go run to the back room if you get nauseous. So let's talk about the music though, because I interviewed you for a story in EW, and you were telling me that you actually aren't that familiar with the hip hop world. You are more like Diana Ross, like kind of old school people. So it was your kids who actually told you who to go to, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I know now. Ask me anything. Anything.
Okay, all right,
I mean, because the research that has to be done.
Right.
I know it all. But when I came to it, part of the challenge too, and part of the exciting part of doing something is always learning. How can I push myself into a place of what new can I discover about myself and what can I learn? And so I knew nothing of hip hop. And so my kids said, like, why are you even trying to pretend that you know? And so I said, well, I got a check. I got to write it. So what do I do? And they said, well, you should talk to Timberland. I said, who is that? And then I found him, called him up, and we connected. And I pitched him this story. And 48 hours later, he came up with the most fantastic music. And it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah.
So how does it work with Timbaland with the music? Do you send him scripts and he writes the songs based on that? What's the sort of collaboration like with him for these?
Well, it gets a little, he oversees all the music, He doesn't have time he did the pilot. And I think he did a lot of the first episode, and sporadically throughout he'll come in and oversee. But he's off with Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake and Beyonce and those types. So it's like me. I mean, it's hard to the television. I get so nervous about the one thing about television that is frightening is that it lives on without you. And so you pray that the episodes are going to you plant the seed. You tell them, okay, this is where I want it to start. This is where I want it to end. But I have a day job, and I got another movie to make. And so you pray that the people that you've hired, your showrunner and your writers and the directors, are going to stay the course. I've seen some of the episodes. I think that we do stay the course. But, you don't know. But I tell you what's great. What's great is that I don't know what I'm more excited about, whether or not I'm able to get my story out there, or that, like, it's my story that we're seeing, or whether or not I'm able to have people of color for the first time working in the writer's room and in directing the episodes. Debbie Allen, John Singleton, Anthony Hemingway, Mario Van Peebles. These are people. I mean, I'm full of humility at the change that's being made right now in Hollywood, in television. So I mean, it's just it's very moving. That's a good place right now.
Yeah. And you guys had amazing ratings, and you've had so many, because I follow you on Twitter, and I follow a bunch of people on Twitter, and you've had such an outpouring of support for the show. And I think on Friday, it was, Shonda Rhimes tweeted that she loved the show, and she was kind of obsessed with it. And that must have been exciting, because you're obviously a huge filmmaker, but she's sort of like the fairy godmother of television, I feel like.
How about I fell to my feet?
Really?
Yes. Are you crazy? I was like, and then Viola Davis and Kerry Washington, all these people that have come out to support. It is Tracy Ellis. What it is I can't believe that we are up against Blackish. It's like, why are we? Because I love that. I don't know what to do now, because that's my favorite show.
I know, it's a great show too.
So I think that it's it beats that crabs in the barrel theory, if you ever heard that. You know the crabs in the...
No.
It's an old-fashioned... Look it up.
Okay, all right. I mean, where were you when you heard the ratings? Because was that another fall to your knees moment? Because you had the highest, I think, premiere on Fox in 3 years for a drama, and you improved upon Idol, the demo for Idol, which that rarely happens. So that must have been, was that just an amazing moment for you?
I don't know from ratings, and I really didn't think it's like the lotto hit. Let me just say, look. Getting the pilot greenlit is like hitting the lottery. You have to understand. It's like hitting a lottery. I don't care who you are. Getting a pilot greenlit by any primetime network is hitting that. To then have it go to air is like the mega lottery. Yeah. So to then have those ratings it's like, what is We on Mars? So it was sort of shocking, and I didn't think it. And America's fickle. Just because it's good, I like everything that I do. That doesn't mean that America does. So they're all like, all of my projects are like my children. I like them equally. So I really didn't know if they would respond. I didn't really know. So, and I try not to, I try really hard not to read reviews unless my friend Anika, who's out here somewhere, sends them to me, says, "Did you see what they say about you here?" It's normally a bad one.
You got great reviews, though. You got great reviews.
I know. That's what she said.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
EW gave you an A-.
Did you?
Yeah, we gave you an A-. Yeah.
Oh, that's
really
nice.
good review. Yeah. I'm tooting my own horn here.
Thank you.
Tell me about. I love this story. Taraji told me this story too when I interviewed her about casting her because she not
I'm
only.
still tripping on the A-.
I know it's good.
Why not an A?
Well, I don't know. I didn't actually review it.
This is why I don't want.
It wasn't me reviewing it. I just wrote the story. It was like our TV critic. I got to be objective.
That's why I don't want to hear the reviews.
Well, that's a great review.
A-.
Yeah, that's a wonderful. If that was my average in high school, I'd be very pleased with myself.
Okay.
Or college.
Yeah.
You'd be on the honor roll. You're on the honor roll, Lee Daniels. Okay. So Taraji told me when you guys cast her, one of her ultimatums was you have to also cast Terrence.
She's out of her mind, and she's correct, and she's out of her mind. She says to me, we're Skyping, and I say to her, as I was in conversations with, I'll say it, I was in conversations with Wesley Snipes, and I was interested in bringing him back to TV, and it's not like Terrence and I weren't friends. We are not only friends, we're buddies.
Yeah.
And speak daily. And we were looking to do another film together. We didn't know it was going to be like the Marvin Gaye story or some Italian story in Italy or something. We were trying to find something. And he's a genius, And so I didn't think he wanted to do film. So I'm talking to Wesley, thinking that, this has come back. And Taraji, I Skype her. She's like, I'm looking at her, the one, and she says, "Well, it's a good script and everything, but I really think we should do this with Terrence." I said, "We? Since when did you had a job?" And that's when I knew it was Cookie, because who else is going to make those demands before she even got the job?
Yeah.
So I said, Terrence ain't. I said, first of all, you don't have the job yet, and then Terrence is not going to do it. I just didn't think that I knew that she had a brief stint in television, but Terrence certainly hadn't, an Academy Award nominee, but he did it, and it was great. I said, Terrence, you want to do this TV show? Came in, they tested, magic chemistry, and I knew that no matter what happened, their love affair, to me, is like Hepburn and what's his name? Hepburn and
Tracy?
Tracy, yeah. Those two, just they have a connection.
Yeah.
There's just something. It's magic. Magic.
Well, and it informs the characters so much because knowing that they have this long creative, relationship, Taraji and Terrence, dating back to Hustle and Flow, it makes you have to believe that they're this couple that have known each other for years and years and years, and it does really make them seem they're so connected to each other.
And they really do. They fight like cats and dogs. They love each other. They've never had sex ever, and he tries, and but she knows that, and I think they both know that if in fact it ever were, he's married,
right.
But it would lose the magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're so good together, though. Did you, when you were writing Cookie, though, did you know that? Because I think Cookie really, she's sort of the breakout character. I mean, she really is the one. She says what everyone is kind of thinking, and she's so funny. Did you know writing her that she would be that she would become a fan favorite?
I write for women.
Yeah.
You know, I love women. I should have been straight, you know, because I write for women. I really love women.
Yeah.
I grew up with women, and they were so influential in my life. And they're so much smarter than men, you know. They're so like a step ahead of us, you know. And so, it was like the Butler when we wrote the character of Gloria. I had to make her a drunk. Like, yeah, she's got to have an affair with her next door neighbor. Who cares if it's true? Yeah, these complications.
Yeah, I love that. Have you talked to Oprah about guest starring on Empire?
Yeah, I did.
She
can't because of OWN, but Denzel, she loves it though. She was so kind. She said that it changes. I don't forget the exact word. I don't want to quote because we're on podcasts and this forever and ever. Something like her quote was like, "It redefines television." Wow, wasn't that nice? And then Denzel is going to guest star. He said, "I haven't been on television for forever, but this right here, I'm gonna be a part of." So
like
that's
this season.
I hope. I mean, no, it's too late this season
Okay.
because we have the finale coming up. But he's going to be on it, so that's great.
What about you? Have worked with Mariah Carey twice. What about Mimi? Will Mimi appear on Empire?
She's certainly all of my friends. Lenny Kravitz, Foxy Brown, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Snoop Dogg has guest starred. Yeah, I mean, you know, they're all coming out, and it's great and it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Mary J. Blige, I think, is appearing this season too, right?
She did it. She did a stint. She did it in a moment too.
And Courtney Love is doing a pretty major arc. Yes,
genius.
Courtney Love is coming on Empire.
You know what we did was part of this was so exciting was that what we did was we brought in the writers' room. We brought in people that came in with stories, and we brought in the producer of Whitney Houston's last album, and how she couldn't. The producer said how she couldn't. Like she was so she knew that she knew that the instrument was gone, and she would bullshit her way through she would like talk to you, baby, 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 and just talk to you know, and when it came time to sing, she would just start you know, and how it would, and then she just, you know, it wasn't there, but something happened, and it was like a moment of magic happened, and there was a moment on her last album where it was like God said, you can sing. And the voice came back for like a 30 seconds, and it was like, what the, you know? And so I grabbed onto that story, and that's what Courtney plays in she plays that sort of Whitney Houston character.
I can't wait for that. That's amazing. And also, one of your friends, Naomi Campbell, has
Nene,
a very.
yes.
Oh, you call her Nene?
Yeah,
I love that.
she's in it. She plays.
She's kind of like she's kind of a hoe.
Yeah, she's a hoe. For show.
Yeah. She's like a cougar hoe.
But she's an English hoe.
Yes, that's true too. Yes, but she debuts in a gold lame jumpsuit.
Everything. It's all about the fashion.
Yes.
I wanted to make Dynasty. Danny and I, what we had in common was King Lear. We both love King Lear. We both love Lion in the Winter. And I'm obsessed with Dynasty growing up. And I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss
absolutely.
that. I miss that. And so fashion was part of it. Yeah. And so fashion, we have tons of fashion, furs, diamonds, and tons of Louis Vuitton.
I love that. I love that. That just seems like your life. I was watching you.
My life.
Yeah, your life seems very fashionable and fun.
It is.
I follow you on Instagram.
Sometimes.
And you were at all
Do
these.
you?
But you were at all these Golden Globes parties over the weekend, and it was like
No, I
it was
didn't
like or it was like me and Naomi Campbell and like Kate Hudson and all these people. I was like, Lee Daniels, you were just living a life. Musicals on TV are so difficult. It's a hard thing. So that for every Glee, there's Smash was very had some troubles. Is this the most challenging thing you've ever done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Only because I'm not the ultimate decision maker.
Yeah.
If something is on, my name's out there.
Yeah.
It's my name. And if I'm not the only one making decisions. I have to collaborate, and I've as in the world of film, the director is God, and especially in the world of independent cinema, there is no that the buck stops here. So everything that you see on that screen, I'm responsible for. It doesn't work like that in television. In that everybody has a say so.
Yeah.
And so you've got to navigate around and sort of, you got to. I mean, they all want to help. They all want the best for the show, but it is what it is.
What can you say? So next you're doing a Richard Pryor biopic, right?
Yes.
So what can you say about that? Starring Mike Epps.
And Kate Hudson.
And Kate Hudson.
Yes. And Taraji's in it, and Oprah's in it, and a couple of other people. But yeah.
That must have been incredibly difficult to find the right guy to play
Very hard.
that icon. So why Mike? What was it about him?
He's like me. He's like Richard. We all have come from very dark pasts. We don't. I'm always looking to do better. It's never good enough. I don't like my work. I don't necessarily, I like them, but I'm not, I don't fawn over them, I'm always nervous. And that's what Richard had in common. That's what Mike and I have in common. And we're always sometimes not so good, to our detriment. We're living in a moment of truth that sometimes hurts our career.
I mean, the thing that I think is most amazing about Empire, and the thing that I responded to the most, is the storyline with Jamal. I mean, how important was that for you, or how difficult was that for you also to put that story on network television? I think that's, homophobia is rampant everywhere, but I think within the African American community and even the music industry, it's a big deal. Was that difficult? Was that difficult to sort of portray? And
I was very anxious to talk about that, and I think that when I was doing Precious, we were. I had to do research, tons of research. And I went to the Gay Men's Health Crises clinic in Manhattan here and Chelsea. And I expected to see gay men there, and there weren't gay men there. All there were African-American women and children, babies, infants. And I remember the image as clear as day. And I thought, what is this? Why is this? And it was like that aha moment that Oprah talks about. Look, these men on the down low are infecting African American women and children. And they're doing it because they're on the down low. You can't hate them because they're on the down low. They're on the down low because the pastor says, your neighbor says, your mama says, your buddy says, your friends say, you cannot come out. It's bad. It's bad being a black man. Why are you going to add gay on top of it? So, and so I think that this addresses it. This takes it home. It hits straight to the heart of homophobia in a way that addresses the ignorance. I think it's the civil rights movement of today. It's hard to live in your truth. I get lots of haters for it. From celebrities even. But that I live in my truth and I will die in my truth.
Yeah. I mean, what is a Lee Daniels project? Like, what do you think it needs to have in order for you to want to direct it? Is there something that do you look at things in material that you're like, that's something I want to do? Is there like a common thread, do you think?
Family. I like family is, I think, is in like all of my stuff. And, you walk away with a sense of if you can't walk away with a sense of, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sexually aroused, I'm hungry for some good food, I can smell the screen, I'm grossed out, I'm terrified, I'm laughing until my stomach hurts. If you can't experience that experience, then you haven't experienced a Lee Daniels film, I don't think.
Wow. Before we go to the questions, this is from towards the end of the episode. This is another scene with Cookie and Jamal. So that's the woman on the couch is Portia, who is Cookie's new assistant, who's also amazing.
Fantastic.
She's amazing. She starts. You'll see her on Wednesday on tomorrow night's episode. She's amazing. Anyways, all right. So let's go to audience questions.
First of all, Lee, thank you so much for creating this role. I know in my family, this started a discussion between myself and my dad as a gay male, just moving here to New York 3 months ago, about the struggles that we went through, me coming out, him finding gay porn and stuff, and that came out at 13, and the reaction that that Terrence had, that was pretty much the reaction of my dad. But just playing off of that, do you think that you're going to write more roles in regard to the African American community about that, like collegiate roles? I think you did a great job of portraying our view, some of the views and some of the things that we deal with. But do you think is there going to be other stories that you can tell other than just from the music industry, maybe from a collegiate level, maybe from us growing up in our childhood as well?
I think that part of your, thank you for that, by the way. And yes, is the short answer. Yes.
Hi, Lee. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
My question is, as a director and as a producer, and do you feel like you have a responsibility to cover everything in your community, and how difficult is that doing that in films and now TV?
Right. I don't feel a responsibility to anybody but myself, my partner, and my children. Once you start trying to be the poster boy for everything, it's like they're gonna. No matter what I do, I'm gonna get in trouble. So I done left somebody out. I remember we were sitting around. We were we were looking around a table. We were having a dinner. You haven't seen this episode, but there's an episode where their families eating. I said, "Damn, all y'all yellow. We're gonna get in trouble. Like we ain't got no people. What's going on here? Oh Lord!" And then I said, "Lucia's gonna have to have a chocolate baby." So it's anyway. You had to be there. Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So you're good at getting outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You seem to relish that.
I
so
do.
Name a few things that you need to do going forward that gets you out of your comfort zone, and that we'll see a science fiction film. Who knows? Things that you'll incorporate into this series, or what else?
Right. A horror movie. I haven't seen a film since The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby that to date that has actually messed with my head, that has fucked with my head, and I haven't been terrified to the bone. And I think that, and nor has there been an African American film that has been a horror film that has been done in a way that has terrified me. So I'm interested in terrifying you. That's something that I'm interested in doing. I mean, there are moments of that. There's moments of that in Precious. You know what I mean? They're just so like, But I'm talking the whole from beginning to end. So I'm very excited about. There is something that I'm working on that is after Prior somewhere about a family that is. I can't talk about it, but yeah, I'm working on it.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, beautiful young lady right there.
When writing Empire, how did you find the beginning of your script? Like, what was going through your mind, and what did you want to show, like, right at the beginning? Because as a student here at NYU and here in New York, I'm struggling to figure out, like, how do I show my audience what I want to say in my scripts? How do I, like, show, like, this is where I want to start?
For Empire, it's a partnership. My incredible partner, Danny Strong, is incredibly talented, and I think he won a Golden Globe for
I think Game Change. Yeah.
Game, is that the one with
Julianne Moore? Yeah.
Julianne Moore.
Sarah Palin.
He's a genius. So, to start the page on this one, it seems like forever. Because there's been so many scripts. But where do I overall begin? I begin from a place of, okay, what's going to grab people in their seats? Like, how do you hook them in? From the first 5 words, hook them in. I just keep thinking, hook them in, hook them in. What? Oh, no, hook them in. What can you do to hook people? And I think that we're so safe. I think that that's the other thing. We find ourselves so safe with we're so edited, homogenized, Americans, beat down, told no to. So you become afraid of yourself and your thoughts.
How you doing, Lee?
Hey, hi, on your left, how you doing?
Pretty good. I just wanted to say thank you for the Butler as a dude growing up in the hood, and just feeling the past in the household. That movie was probably the most resonating movie to me since like John Q. I had a silly question though. It always fascinates me to see outrageous things on network television.
Mm.
Where did the idea of throwing Jamal in the garbage can come from?
It came from personal experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what advice would you have for a up-and-coming screenwriter, director, producer for like younger generations?
Run in the other direction, because it's a drug. And unless you want to breathe it, live it, get rejected, being told no constantly day in and day out, beat down to the ground, stomped. If you can take that, then go. But I would say run in the opposite direction, because you keep your head on.
Thank you for before. And what pushed you into the industry, and how did you make your name? You know, how did you make yourself noticed? How did you make yourself like a person that was to look to, you know?
What pushed me into the industry probably was a bad wind. I don't know, because I should have been told, I should have take that girl. I'm telling you, I should have took that advice I'm giving that girl, because it really can throw your ass off. I think it takes a certain determination of just willpower, absolute willpower. And look I come from a place where I've seen atrocities. I've seen things. I've seen things that maybe I shouldn't have seen as a kid. Death as a kid, I've seen, death when I was 20, something called AIDS wiped away every one of my friends. There were none. I held many of them in my arms as they died, and lovers. That I'm not HIV positive I don't even know how that's possible that I survived that. Crises. I survived drugs. I've witnessed people, die. I mean, I think that you have to. I think that there's a will. For me, my experience, my life experience. If that makes any sense.
Well, thank you so much for being such a good interview, so honest. You're so great, and everyone, thank you all for coming and watch Empire tomorrow night, Wednesday nights on Fox. Mirrored on.
That is, but all of it is.
All of it is.
All of it. All of the characters are. My sister is Cookie. My aunts are Cookie. These are people that are very real and that were based on people that I know or have grown up to know. And I think what's interesting is not just about the past, but also the now. And I don't think that we've seen African Americans that are billionaires. I mean, on screen, the public has, and I mean, I know African Americans that are millionaires and billionaires, and they still get down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that there's that public persona that we give for America, and that's what happens behind closed doors that I'm trying to tell.
Yeah. This is a question from my mom, because my mom loves Empire, and so my mom, she does. She loves it.
How old is she?
She'll be 60 in September.
That's
she lives in Atlanta, and she
is she white?
She's white. She is white. I'm so good, so good. All right, so let's bring out the co-creator of Empire, the director of Precious and The Butler, Mr. Lee Daniels. I like your slippers.
Thank you. I didn't wear pajamas today, so
I know. I didn't realize this. I guess I am the only one that didn't know this, that you wear pajamas when you shoot.
I do.
That's
Because, you got to be balls to the wind. It's dangerous out there.
I know. I said next time I do an Apple Talk, I'm going to be in pajamas. So tell us a little bit about the creation of Empire. You did this with Danny Strong, who's he was the screenwriter of The Butler.
Yeah.
Tell us how this sort of the origin story for this.
He came to me when I was when we were shooting Butler at the real tail end of Butler,
Okay.
and he asked me to. He said, "What do you think of telling your life story as a musical in the hip hop world?" And as a
I'm white. Yes, my mother is also white. But she wanted to know who Lucius is based on because there's a little Diddy, there's a little Jay-Z, there's a little Berry Gordy. Is he a combo of all those people? Did you kind of base him on anyone in particular?
Yeah, he's a little bit of all of those pieces, everybody. And he's, Gamble and Huff from Philadelphia. He's based on my dad. He's based on me getting into the industry. I've done some things that I've had to do that I'm not proud of as a young kid to get to where I had to get to. And so I think he's based on a combination of many African American men that have had to do things to get to where they had. It's no different than American men, because this is no different than Joe Kennedy. Yeah. What he did back then.
No, totally. Is it fun when you guys are writing this show? There's so many characters that are sort of like, kind of cloaked versions of real people, like in this week's
film. And so I slept on it, and I said, you know what? I want to make money. So I think that we should, Danny. We've done movies, so let's try this TV shit. You see how it works, and so I said, if it's TV, then yeah. And then the question then became whether or not it was cable or whether it was prime time, because I really wasn't familiar with TV and how it works and all, and so I chose prime time so that I could really make money. And because I thought it would challenge me to how do you tell a story about hip hop and not curse. Yeah. So for me, the challenge creatively was telling that story and not use the F-bomb, which I do in all my movies. Do you know?
You were saying it's kind of about your life, especially the stuff about Jamal in particular, right? That's sort of his episode. There's an artist on Empire named Tiana who is kind of like Rihanna a little bit. Is that fun to sort of write these sort of like kind of cloaked versions of people? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
are you worried about Rihanna like coming to your house though?
No.
Okay.
Because she wasn't. The thing is that I called her Tiana because it was based after my cousin. The name came from my cousin, and originally she was written as did we see that clip?
Yeah, well that's what I was gonna.
Well, she was written as a this hardcore sort of rapper, sort of gangster, sort of very butch, sort of, and then, the powers to be created something that was completely different, and I went with it and made the best of it, and I'm really excited about her.
Yeah.
I think she's a discovery.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's great. So let's watch a clip, actually. This is from tomorrow night's episode of Empire. This is sort of a new artist who Hakeem, Lucius and Cookie's youngest son, sort of